I was reading a book on leadership by Karen Joy Hardwick when I came across this quote: "We are a culture that confuses activity with purpose." It made me stop and think about how big a role initiative plays in success. How, if we are not well aware of ourselves, we can invest our energy in the wrong things. And that's not going to get us anywhere. After all, our energy is not an inexhaustible resource. Over the years, I've noticed that successful people don't waste their energy on something many of us get caught up in. 1. Worrying about things they can't control. I'll start with something I learned very early in life, in my 20s. I was a preschool teacher, so maybe that contributed to that first lesson. You see, one of my hardest awakenings during my first year of teaching was that there were only a few things I could control: the lesson plan, the way the class was organized, the way I communicated with the students, parents, and coworkers. But I cannot help but control other things, such as the child's mood, the home environment, the cooperation of the parents, administrative decisions, and similar matters. Other self. So I had to learn to stop stressing about these things. It's not like my worries will change anything in those areas. Instead, what I did was do my best with the parts that I could actually handle. And the parts that I can't, I have learned to adapt and develop strategies to deal with it. Successful people understand this all too well. They know that their energy is a finite resource and is best used when it is used for what can be done. 2. Seeking perfection. This is closely related to my previous point. Perfection is an illusion, but many of us relentlessly pursue it. That's why we have a strong desire to control everything. Not only that, we also believe that just having that perfect thing will eventually make us successful or happy. But successful people know that it's a waste of time and energy. Because perfection is unattainable. Do not be confused with yourself. I'm not saying they get away with mediocrity. No, the difference is, even if they don't seek perfection, they still aim for excellence, a much easier goal to achieve. Because it gives way to the mistakes necessary for growth. 3. Repeating mistakes. Talking about flaws brings me to the next point. Yes, we all make mistakes, no doubt about it. But you know what's important? How we treat them. Successful people value their mistakes by learning from them and never making the same mistake twice. So if they screw up a presentation at work, yes, they might feel frustrated with themselves. But you can be sure that the next presentation they make will be much better. This requires 3 things: humbly accepting their own flaws, self-awareness to see what happened, a mindful attitude to help them monitor their thoughts and behaviors. So next time you make a mistake, do what they do, learn, adjust, and move on. 4. Dwelling on the past. If you look at the list above, you'll notice that mindfulness is there. You see, this is what successful people really care about. This is what keeps them from dwelling on the past, another grueling but unproductive activity. We've all been there, repeating past events or mistakes in our heads. I'll be the first to admit, it's an easy trap to fall into. When successful people make mistakes, and as we discussed earlier, they make mistakes, they don't blame themselves. Instead, they learn the lessons, adjust their approach, and move on. They understand that the past cannot be changed, but they must shape the future. Remember that energy spent on regret is wasted energy. The future is a much better investment. 5. Holding grudges. Part of not remembering the past is letting go of grudges, and that's another thing successful people do. They know that holding a grudge can be satisfying in the moment, but it's a huge waste of energy. It's like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere. It slows you down and fatigues you. That's why they choose to forgive and move on. Life is too short to burn through negativity, and they need energy to achieve their most exciting dreams. Again, invest in the future. 6. Fear of change. Talking about the future brings me to the next thing: fear of change. The feeling of not knowing what was going to happen, not sure if I could handle it, was really upsetting. I completely understand. But here's a little secret I've learned from successful people: they're not afraid of change. They kiss her. It's all about perspective. Successful people see change as an opportunity, not a threat. They know it's the only constant in life and the only way to grow is to adapt. So how exactly do they handle uncertainty? Well, they become proactive, they prepare for all possibilities, they use their strengths to deal with change, and they make sure they have a great support system. Above all, they choose courage, hope, and positivity over fear. And that's what keeps them one step ahead. 7. Waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment, we've all been waiting for it. The perfect time to start a business, write a book, or take that trip. But here's the point, although success depends a bit on luck and timing, life doesn't always work out that way. You won't always know the right time for anything. And if you keep waiting for him to come, you can wait forever. There's an old adage that I love, don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect. That's exactly what Amazon founder Jeff Bezos did. He had the idea of a store that sold everything, but at the time, e-commerce was not yet a reality. But he moved on, quit, and founded Amazon from his garage. The rest is history, and now he is one of the richest people in the world. 8. Participating in gossip or negative talk. No time for drama, this is what you often hear from successful people. And they will be right. Gossip or negative talk may seem interesting at the moment, but overall it won't do you any good. And it's not a pretty sight. On the contrary, they distract you from your goals and promote a negative state of mind. So how can you be the best version of yourself? 9. Trying to please everyone. The best version of yourself is the authentic version. That's why you won't find successful people bent over trying to please others. Listen, to be loved and accepted is a natural human desire. I myself had this strong desire when I was young. Fortunately, I learned my lesson a long time ago. Pleasing people is an impossible and exhausting task. And it makes me feel empty, like I'm not being true to myself. Because that's what it is, it forces you to fit the mold others want you to conform to. To be successful, you have to come to terms with the idea that not everyone will agree with you or like you. Believe me, it will free you to be who you really are and live a life that is true to your values and vision. 10. Comparing themselves to others. Finally, we come to the last point where successful people don't waste time and energy. The comparison game is one that we've all played at some point, but while it's a perfectly natural inclination, it actually does more harm than good. Again, let me be clear, it's the best version of yourself that matters. Successful people keep an eye on, not what others are doing, but their own progress. They celebrate victories, learn from failures, and constantly strive to be better than they were yesterday. This approach saves them energy and helps them stay focused on their path. As you can see, success is not accidental, nor is it something that comes easily. It is the result of determination and focus, of being purposeful about the things that you invest your time and energy into. I hope this list has given you some thought and made you reconsider your own habits. There may be some things where you have wasted your precious energy, and now is the perfect time to let them go.